Let's chat.
We're fucking stranded out here because our captain has abandoned ship. We're recording without Ark today.
We're talking about RPGs. He ran. He ran so far.
He abandoned ship, and now we're just sitting out here in the ocean.
Gentlemen,
Finally.
it's an honor podcasting with you.
It's time for the Falshane to arrive.
Hey, I'm the new captain now.
Okay, look, boy, we're gonna have to share this ship.
You two are my ship.
Falshane.
Let's move on to the topic, shall we?
What's that?
Hey there, viewers! I didn't make an appearance in this recording, but I just couldn't stay away from the recording booth. I'd miss you too much. Well, let's see what the boys had to say for Topic 1. Fire Emblem made a killing in Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, coming in at a whopping 6 characters and tying for the 2nd place in total characters per franchise. Pretty impressive. But what about this new title? What kind of content can we expect to see from good old Framblam?
So, we have all dreaded this moment.
Yes.
I've got a hot cocoa and a comfy pillow and just ready to let you guys go.
Yeah,
I don't know what anybody's problem is. I could talk about Fire Emblem for, like, forever.
Listen,
That is the issue. Hold on.
I've never played a single Fire Emblem game, not even the little mobile one, but I am fully prepared to have this discussion with you guys.
Oh, speaking of which, I need to get my research ready. Hold on.
Yeah, I
just
pulled my
getting
notes up over here, too. I don't think I have likely as much on dates and times as you do.
Okay, got it. Now I got her notes ready.
God.
Yeah, I think
that's what
my
you guys know.
experience with Fire Emblem is just a little bit of whichever one was on the 3DS
Awakening?
Ambassador program. No, it was like a GBA one.
Sacred Stones.
Oh,
yeah, that,
Sacred
and
Sons.
I have Fire Emblem Warriors, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, Fire Emblem Warriors would definitely give you a nice little smattering of, like,
Yeah.
the idea of the characters, but it wouldn't really give you, in my opinion, a fair idea about Fire Emblem in general. But one of the things that I did want to point out is that Fire Emblem's anniversary actually just passed. And
Oh, yeah.
Really?
we didn't really get anything for it.
Which anniversary was it? Do you know?
Yeah, the original release of Fire Emblem 1 on the NES for Japan was April 20th, 1990. So that would make it the 28th anniversary. Well, I guess because it's such an odd number, they didn't really decide to release anything at all. But we didn't get, like, any more information about Fire Emblem for the Switch. We didn't get a new character for Fire Emblem Heroes. We didn't get an update to Fire Emblem Warriors. It really went kind of unannounced or uncelebrated.
Yeah, I think just on the topic of Fire Emblem the Switch, because that's gonna come up eventually. So we're gonna get a reveal at E3, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's still scheduled for this year. Like they just released their annual investors call, and on their schedule that they had in their slides, it said Fire Emblem on Nintendo Switch 2018. So that's basically all we know about it, is that it exists and it's coming out this year.
Yeah,
So
it
I
sounds
imagine
like
E3 reveal.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of games that are coming out this year that they really haven't spoken at length about just yet, such as Smash.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's our job.
Reason for the season.
Yeah. Shall we actually talk about the characters then that we think are likely to get in?
Sure.
Sure, we can do that. Saps, do you have an initial character? I know there's one you're probably going to bring up, so I have some notes on her here whenever you're ready.
I have an
Okay.
opinion.
Okay, let's Jay start first with the one that knows the least of the Fire Emblem out of the two of us. Or three of us.
The joke was it was Roy.
Oh.
Did you want to go ahead and bring up whom I know you're going to bring up?
I know we're gonna be competing on this because the most recent games of Fire Emblem was Fire Emblem 15, Shadows of Valentia.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wasn't
there
that a
are two
remake?
protagonists there. There's the female protagonist Celica and the male protagonist Alm.
Okay.
And
quick,
I know me and Falshane are a conflicting opinion in which one will be represented.
quick question: is Echoes was a remake, correct?
Yes, it was a remake of the second game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say the two characters are unique in their own way. Both of them carry swords, but only one of them uses magic as well.
Yeah, so I feel like Celica, whom you believe is going to be more likely, would play much more like Robin does. And
Yes.
who I believe is more likely, would play more like a standard Fire Emblem character.
Fair. I would put in more of the Ike category of the standard Fire Emblem characters, because he's more of a strongman kind of main character.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, with his A-type moves, I could see them being more heavy-hitting and with a lot more weight behind them. But with his standard B set or his special set, I think that he would likely have the same down B as counter, forward B as dancing blade, etc., etc.
Okay.
Yeah, that is fair.
All right. So you mentioned that would probably play similar to Ike and Celica, kind of like Robin. I think that right there actually kind of counts against them, because I know Sakurai doesn't like to add in a new character if they're too similar to something they already have. Excluding last-minute clones and the like. But that was the reason why he didn't include Chrom, because he was just another sword fighter, whereas Robin used magic, and that was more interesting from a design perspective.
Though he does sometimes do this thing where he likes to replace characters with someone who will have similar function. Or maybe he hasn't, but he plans to sometimes. Because I know that Lucas was originally going to replace Ness in Melee, just because of the way development went, it didn't happen that way. But you could just as easily replace an existing character.
Yeah, I think something kind of like that you could say happened with like Lucario and Mewtwo.
Yeah,
that could happen.
Kind of what I was gonna say is, I know that Ike is very popular, and I did bring up the lists, the popularity polls that Intelligent System did recently, and he did place very highly. In fact, he won the first one they did, I believe.
Of the males, important
yes,
notes.
of the men. But I would agree, and I wouldn't mind if Ike stepped out for a while, because in the interest of keeping the main character of the franchise, quote unquote, I would like to keep Marth in. But if we're gonna have a character who plays on a more heavier style, but is still a Fire Emblem character, I think that would be a good choice to take the place of Ike, and Celica could take the place of Robin if we were going to go so far to try to get both of them in.
Yeah. Question: is the protagonist of his game?
Both are.
Yeah, they're shared protagonists of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the note of replacing characters, I know someone in the Discord chat that we have actually brought this up. Sakurai usually wants to incorporate the mechanics of the different games into their characters. One of Fire Emblem's big drawing points is the vast cast of characters. And what good way of incorporating that into the game? For Smash games, they replace the older characters with newer ones.
Yeah, but it's not like they can just keep adding Fire Emblem characters until this is Super Fire Emblem Brothers.
No. I mean, they instead of having Robin again, they replace it with Celica. Instead of having Ike again, they replace it with Alm. Instead of having Lucina again, they replace her with Lyn.
Yes, and that's another character that we could bring up. I don't know if we're going to talk about Alm and Celica more specifically yet, or...
The only other thing I would have to add to that is, having, again, played only Fire Emblem Warriors, Celica is in that, and Alm is not, to my memory.
Yes, I
that's
forgot about that point.
Really the only bonus point I think that Celica has in her favor. That, and she did win, I think second. No, I think she actually won first place in the more recent Fire Emblem popularity contest for 2018 of the women.
I have the site up right here, and she got 36,000 votes. She got second place out of all the characters, where Alm had 18,000 votes.
Yeah, so if they are going by simple popularity, then it is likely that Celica would get in over Alm. But I don't know. I have a hard time believing that that's all they would use, given that if you picked up Fire Emblem Valencia Oranges right now and started playing it, you would only know about playing as Alm. I mean, that might be a minor spoiler, but you really wouldn't know about playing as Celica until, I'd say, like an hour into the game?
Yeah. She's still an element there, but she doesn't seem to be a protagonist character at that point.
Yeah, so...
Okay.
That's sort of that's what makes me feel like Alm is more of a representative of the game, because you get to learn about him and sort of feel his position in the story sooner than Celica's.
Yeah. For me, I think in terms of likelihood, it all comes down to who would be more interesting from a design standpoint. But again, not having played the game, I wouldn't be able to say for sure one way or the other.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and I think that Celica, just because she can do more, like she has the physical capability of a character of doing more things than Alm can, might also give her an edge. So maybe my position on this is changing. I don't know.
Yeah, but are we done on the oranges talk then? Maybe we should preface that, but in the game you get a lot of oranges.
Did you want to talk about Lyn?
Yeah, because while we're talking about popularity and warriors, Lyn is in both.
Yes, not only was she in, like you said, Fire Emblem Warriors, but she won first place of the women vote in 2017. And if Fire Emblem Heroes is to be any sign of popularity, Lyn also recently just got a new unit announced about...
Her 5th unit!
Yeah, a week ago. And not only that, but it's her 5th unit.
Dang.
IS is really pushing her, which is why I think also she has a high chance of getting in the game. IS seems to be really think she should be a selling point for Fire Emblem at the moment.
What is
not only
And
like
Infinite
trophy for a while, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Just to answer Jay first, IS is Intelligent Systems, the company who makes Fire Emblem.
Oh, neat.
I should maybe preface that from the get-go, but I didn't catch what Wander said.
Oh, just that Lyn's been an assist trophy, right? Since Brawl, I think?
Yes, she has. And she has been a highly wanted unit from then, too. And while Falshane says she was the most voted female character, she was actually the most voted character during that poll, too, with 49,000 votes.
That's a lot of votes.
You got there eventually, Sis.
It was many rewords.
Oh,
So many.
I love you, Gamersaps.
But yeah, she even got 6,000 more votes than Lucina, and
wow.
18,000 more votes than Ike.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, for some
You go,
reason,
girl.
Lyn's gotten super popular recently. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I like about the concept of Lyn potentially being a character is, even if we ignore all of the crazy weapon types they've given her in Heroes, her standard weapon type is the based off the Myrmidon class. And those usually involve really fast, swift strikes, but with really lightweight characters. So I would really like the idea of having a Fire Emblem character who maybe played more along the lines of like Meta Knight or something, where they could like teleport, strike, like disappear and reappear again, doing an attack, kind of like her assist trophy, and maybe having a lot more swifter attacks, but they're light, so they can get killed really easily.
Yeah. And to add to that, she also has bows in her games, so she could incorporate that into her gameplay somewhat.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting, because when you were describing her, I was thinking that sounds a lot like Meta Knight. But if she also had projectiles like bows and such, that could definitely set her apart.
I actually think, because her assist trophy is the one that she has her blade sheathed, right? And then she draws it and cuts someone?
Yes.
Okay, could that be her whole gimmick? Is that she actually will continually draw and then resheath her sword? Like,
they actually do that. Like, Myrmidon class are known for basically sheathing their swords as they're fighting.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
they're effectively like the either fencing or samurai type characters, depending on what like nationality of sword fighting you want to ascribe to it.
Right. Well, there you go. So, so I think that she could use like an Iaido style like that, where she's always drawing and sheathing like that, and I think that would give her a really cool play style. That's definitely like no other character so far. And,
Well, one of the ways I was thinking of implementing it is I would like it if she had a side beast pseudo similar to now I'm not gonna remember his name.
Greninja?
Yes, thank you.
Oh.
Like Greninja, yeah, where she would just stand there with her hand on the sword, and then you could see maybe like her shadow or whatever move around, and whenever you let go, she would just teleport there and land a strike.
I guess that sounds
Yeah.
more ninja-y to me, so I'm not sure if I would see that one as much as it would be for Greninja.
Fair. But yeah, I think that covers it for it about Lyn. But there are also two other things I feel like need to be tackled on when it comes to Fire Emblem, which is not related to Lyn though. And that is the new Fire Emblem game, which again we have heard nothing about. There is a huge likelihood of that game being represented in the new Smash.
Now,
But
my
that is
question,
all we can say about it.
yeah, my question is, how many characters from the Fire Emblem franchise made it into Smash before their game was officially announced, or officially released rather? And I think the only one was Roy.
Yes. You can argue Corrin, but that was only localized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take all of my perspectives, at least in terms of considering when the game was released from the Japanese release date, only because I'm sure that when they're considering it, they don't really take the American release dates into consideration for much.
Well, I mean, you just have to. There's so many Fire Emblem characters in Smash. I mean, there's so many of them, and they get their own fan base. Like even Roy, despite the fact that Jay has never played the game, loves Roy just because he's a Smash character. If you want to make room for the new guys, you have to boot the old guys, and you have to wonder if any of the new guys have the staying power, especially a character from a game that hasn't even been released yet. Do they have the staying power of Marth or Ike?
Well, I highly doubt a character like Corrin, for example, would stick around for very long. And personally, if we were to only keep one of either Robin or Lucina, it's kind of a toss-up because Robin is definitely the more interesting playstyle character of the two, but Lucina would be easier to keep around just because her moveset's similar to Marth's.
What makes Corrin less likely than any other Fire Emblem protagonist?
Not a very popular character.
Okay.
Of all of the Fire Emblem characters that are currently in Smash, I think Corrin, in terms of being a Fire Emblem character, is probably the least popular.
Okay.
It would be argued, but I would say she also has the most original fighting style of most Fire Emblem characters, looking aside from Robin.
Yeah,
True.
for me, that's what helps them a lot. So for me, in regards to the upcoming Fire Emblem, again, it's kind of frustrating that we don't know anything about it, and we probably won't until E3. And honestly, I would not be surprised if they kind of did a 1-2. Here's the new Fire Emblem, and here's the main character in Smash.
Oh yeah,
Again, it depends, because we know that in the past, Sakurai has had like a placeholder for the next Fire Emblem Lord character whenever we learn more about that. Like he did that for Roy and for Ike and for Robin as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did that again, provided that the character had something that made them unique and set them apart from other characters. Because that's why he chose Robin over Chrom, because more potential for a unique playstyle.
Yeah, and I can imagine during the Nintendo Direct, whenever it happens, where they're going to announce more information about the Fire Emblem Switch game, if they either had a scene where you're watching like a Smash fight, or you're just watching this fight between a bunch of Fire Emblem characters done from Smash, and then suddenly this other character jumps into the fray, and it says, you know, new main character enters the Smash, and then once it's done, the announcer says something like, oh, but who is that new character we saw? Oh, that's XYZ, and they're the new main character of Fire Emblem Switch. And then
Who the F is this?
Yeah. And then segueing into the direct portion about Fire Emblem Switch, or vice versa.
Right.
Yeah, I think more likely vice versa is going to happen. But yeah, I get your points.
Vice versa.
Fucking.
Play nice.
Look, we all know Saps is Norwegian, okay?
Meh. But if we're going to talk about, there are only two small things I would bring up again that is related to Fire Emblem that is really just toss out and then done. One is Anna. Anna
Ooh,
is
I like
basically the
Anna.
only character that has been in every single Fire Emblem except for one.
Yeah, she's basically the like dimension hopper of the Fire Emblem
Right.
universe.
It's sort of like I'm trying to think of a good like Sid in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sid is the perfect example of what Anna is, and she is playable in the two most recent games, with the exception of the remake.
Yeah, what kind of weapons does she use? Isn't
She's
she
an
like
archer.
Okay.
Well, it depends because she's also listed as a trickster class, which use swords, and she's also listed as an axe wielder in Heroes. So I think Anna's whatever she wants to be. She's usually the only
She can
thing she's
afford
really
it.
the only thing she's usually associated with always is treasure or money.
I think that could be a fun angle for them to make some kind of merchant character. That's like the only character I can think of that would make sense as like using money as a fighting style is. I guess there are a few. There's like Tingle in Hyrule Warriors, or maybe Torneko Taloon from Dragon Quest. But it's sort of including economics or treasure or money in some way into a fighter could be really interesting if they found a good angle for it.
I would love it if they had a wealth meter for a character. That would be hilarious. And the one last thing that I wanted to mention is one of the few things about Fire Emblem that in almost every game has been important, but has never really shown up in Smash, is promoting. And I think it would be really interesting if the final Smash for one of the Smash characters was a transformation move where, for example, let's say if Lynn got in, she got her final Smash to be like Blade Lord, because that's the name of the class, and all of her moves would become buffed up and her costume would change to the Blade Lord costume.
Okay.
And they would get a buff sort of like Wario for Wario Man or Lucario's Mega Lucario.
Yeah, when you said promoting, I thought you meant like advertising.
Oh no.
My name is Lynn!
Buy Fire Emblem on Nintendo Switch today.
She gets the Smash Ball and it just starts a commercial.
Wait, no, that's Anna's Final Smash.
Did you know that you could buy Fire Emblem for the Switch at your local gaming store?
Power to the
And then the opponents just go flying.
They're just blown
Well,
away.
you see their bank accounts just drain and they all just die.
Speaking of promoting and money, Amiibos.
Oh, wait. is this on
That's a topic for a different day, my man.
No, I will only cue this in for the small little topic because Crom and Tiki also has Amiibos.
Oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Don't you feel like Crom kind of missed his mark?
Yeah, like the boat left on Crom.
Is
Yeah.
Kiki a recurring character, or is she just an awakening?
She has
Well-
appeared in Awakening and the first game.
Tiki
Okay.
was also in Tokyo Mirage Sessions as
Cross.
nobody cares about Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Okay, and her deal is that she's a small girl, but also a large dragon, right?
Well, she's a dragon, which in many Fire Emblem games there are character types called Miniquettes, where they can transform from like a human form into a big scary dragon demon form.
Okay.
And Tiki is one of those. But her big thing, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, is like she was one of the original Miniquettes.
Yeah, she was one of the first ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all.
I'm hoping that you guys can just like answer some questions about Fire Emblem for me that are
Yes.
relevant to the characters. So, I mean, I know that Marth and Ike, those two characters, they've appeared in Project Steam, and they've been like bonus like Easter egg or DLC character in other Fire Emblem games. So they're just the two of them. Did Smash make them that popular, or were they already that big and that's why they're in Smash?
It is definitely Smash that made them go that way, and
Yeah.
they are incorporated as amiibos in those other games,
Yeah,
which is why they are able to be used the way they are.
yeah. I do think that the reason that they're playable in Conan Steam is because they had amiibo.
Well, I
Yeah.
would say that Smash made Marth big, but
Oh.
I legitimately think that Lucina was already super popular when Fire Emblem Awakening came out, or as it was coming out, because she's basically the female Marth, and
Yeah.
just coming from, you know, the general culture of especially Eastern gaming. If you make
Give
a female
me a
version,
Marth that can smooch.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Female versions of characters.
Like you need to change Marth's gender to make him smoochable.
Right?
Fair enough.
True. I mean, Marth is the prettiest girl in Smash.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were a kid, before you knew what Fire Emblem was, Marth was a pretty hot girl, right?
Yeah. I had friends in like middle school who genuinely thought Martha was a girl. It's like her name's Martha, right?
Martha. Oh, why did you say Martha?
A similar thread to Marth and Ike being made popular by Smash. Are there any Fire Emblem characters that are quite on that level that you would see maybe making like cameos and guest appearances in other games?
The only one that, due to the popularity, I would say, is Lynn, because of how
Yeah.
popular she is. The only thing
Alright,
is,
and
if Smash puts her in, she is golden. She will be one of the new faces of Fire Emblem. There is no
Yeah.
denying it because of her. Just graphical
commenters, I really need you to verify this claim that Lynn is super popular, because I know nothing about Fire Emblem, but I had not heard of this.
Yeah, no,
Fact
that's the
checking.
thing.
That doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about Fire Emblem to dispute it.
Well, one of the things also about, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, Lynn's popularity is that wasn't she in the first Fire Emblem to be released in America?
Yes, she was.
She was the main female in the first Fire Emblem game
That'll do
released
it.
in America. So for a lot of first-time players, especially youngsters out there, sorry, but I'm kind of an old hat at this business. They probably saw Lynn as the first female lead in a Fire Emblem game and were like, "Yeah, that's my girl."
Yeah, and for the first half, the only lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Because I know for me, the sort of the first female lead in a Fire Emblem game that I really sort of ascribe attention to is Irika.
Oh, Sacred Stones, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that is all there is to really bring up about Fire Emblem, unless they want to bring up the mobile game, which I say have no chance, but the sales are big.
Well, the last thing I wanted to bring up in terms of potential characters, and I know this one is extremely slim, would be Hector.
Yeah, I want him to. Same game from Lynn. Doesn't have quite the popularity, but is unique enough to be regarded in this.
He's a big old axe guy, right?
Yes, and I would
Okay.
love the idea of there being a Fire Emblem character that used like an axe as a big heavy weapon. And I know that they kind of have the heavier playstyle with Ike already, but just the idea of this big, like imagine Bowser-sized human character wielding this massive axe and just the overwhelming destruction that a character like that could bring.
Remember, he's 17 though.
Yeah, but he's big. He's big.
In a game of like with 100 protagonists, what are the odds?
It's zero. It's literally zero. The only thing that would
Yeah.
even give him any credibility is that he won the most popular male in the, I think, 2018
Oh.
poll.
Yeah, he got 38,000 votes, so more votes than Celica.
So, I mean, I don't think it's possible just because he's not hugely popular compared to everyone else. But I think his playstyle would be really different. I think he would make a really great addition, and that's really all I'm going to say about it because I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah, but
Alright,
by
so
It's
then,
been a very good therapy session for you too.
yeah, thank you.
You get that out of your system.
Never.
No,
That's
because we're
the
gonna
one.
continue it with the next topic.
Topic 2. Xenoblade is a relatively new addition to the Smash Bros. Series, though since we had the last installment of the fighting game franchise, an entire new Xeno game with fresh opportunities has made its way into the hearts of fans all over. Can we expect to see loads of content from Xenoblade 2 make its way into Smash?
Now that we're done
Whoa,
with
what?
JRPGs, let's see what's next on it. Xenoblade! Oh,
I've actually played some Xenoblade game.
What
I
a
was
bunch of
supposed to.
JRPGs.
All right, let's jump to the topic then.
Well, to be fair, I'm gonna throw my noob hat into the ring here and say, while I did play a crap ton of the original Xenoblade Chronicles, I have not touched X at all.
Ooh, I've played quite a bit of X. Wait, I actually have more to say on a topic than Falshane?
Well, I mean, the most I could say is I really would not think that Shulk would come back.
I would think that Shulk is pretty safe considering how unique he is, and he got really popular because of Smash.
Yeah, but I would like to think, and again, this is where my naivete regarding Xeno Chronicles X is going to come up, but I would love to believe that there's got to be a character in that game that could take the place of Shulk, thereby updating his position and representing a more recent game.
Thing about that is, Saps, go ahead.
Yeah.
Take this.
So, Shulk is the only one that has the ability with Foresight and the ability to use Monado.
Okay,
Xenoblade Chronicles
but
X and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does not use the Monado.
that's fair, but is there a character who has a fighting style that could be unique enough to knock Shulk out because his game is legitimately pretty old at this point, and bring in something new and fresh?
To some degree, yes, but not enough to justify removing Shulk. But yeah, if we're gonna talk about the other games then, and available characters, for Xenoblade Chronicles X, there are only 2 characters I can really consider. One of them is being the main character, Cross.
Cross is kind of generic, even as far as like customizable protagonists go.
They don't even say anything.
Right.
Like, Cross is the most generic of the generic because of how bland they are. They are literally just, alright, let's put a person in here. Oh, they have amnesia. Well, let's explain them everything about this world and our situation and the one and the other. And it's more revolving around the characters around Cross, which is where I would bring up the one I actually find most likely from this franchise. Wonder, what was her name?
Elma?
Yes, Alma. Yes, this explains the issue of Chronicles X.
Yeah, it didn't do super well because it was, sort of a obscure, not really obscure. It was a a JRPG on the Wii U, so the sales weren't great for it. But I do love that game. I think it was a really good game, and I think the timing actually works out pretty well as far as like it coming out shortly before Smash Switch would have started development. So I think even if we don't get a character, I think we should probably see a bunch of stuff from it, like maybe even a stage.
Yeah, that is very likely. Cross is in the weird situation where it is in the kind of, it's hard to remember what actually happens, but it is still a good game, and should get representation somehow. Now, I am going to be very alone here because we're also going to talk about Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
Who else here has played Chronicles 2?
Nope.
Sorry.
Oh no!
Isn't that a bad game? I heard it was a bad game.
I heard that is not true.
Yeah,
It has bad
really
pants.
Yeah, the design of the main character can be argued being very bad. Most people do not like the design of the main character. And out of the cast, the main character might actually be the one that is least liked.
So you're gonna put him in Smash.
Therein lies the issue. But it actually did really well sales-wise. I don't have the numbers right now, but it sold particularly well.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up because this is from the same sort of investors call meeting. They announced that it was like in the top 10 best-selling Switch games, and it crossed 1 million units and then some. So it actually did pretty well.
Yeah. But the issue lies then in the main character. I like Rex. I think he's a nice character and all, but I can see where the issue with him comes from, with him being bland at times. Main stick is almost yelling. But then there's the most popular character, most likely, which is Pyra. But you can't have Pyra without Rex. It is almost impossible. Unless you do it Pokemon Trainer style.
Explain this a bit. Because I'm a
So-
little unfamiliar with how the mechanics of this game work.
So, history time for Chronicles 2. In that game, it takes place after the events of Chronicles 1, I assume. I haven't finished the game yet, but I'm at the final boss, I believe.
Okay.
And in this world, you have people called Blades and Drivers. Drivers are essentially people that come from the land, people that lives on the different Titans. And they have the ability to activate cores, which turns into blades. They can take shape of animal forms, humanoid forms, monster forms, whatever. And they will have a weapon associated with them. And the main character gets a blade called Pyra, which is basically a human Monado.
Ooh.
Is that the one that looks like an stereotypical anime character?
Yes.
Okay.
In Xenoblade?
Well, no, we're talking even more stereotypical. And if you could see my hand motions right now, you'd know what I mean.
Oh, I can
feel
see him.
But the thing is, one of the main gimmicks in that game is that you can have a lot of different blades.
Are they all anime girls?
No,
Is this a harem anime?
no, it's
joke.
not. But I can't
In joke.
directly deny it.
Oh, jeez.
But with the different characters, you can have a driver possessing several blades, and the blades can be male, female, animal, polar bear, bunny, whatever.
Mineral.
Yes, mineral even.
I am the very model of a model
Major driver.
But yeah, I don't think you can really incorporate a new character from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 without having them use several different blades. And the only one who can really do that and represent it properly would be Rex.
Now, there is something that I think I know about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Pyra has another form.
Spoilers! Yes, she does!
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I guess spoilers then. We'll put a thing before that.
We'll put a
Let's
thing
bleep
after.
Let's just say, spoiler alert, rest of the discussion is gonna spoil Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, because I was thinking after I heard that could maybe incorporate that as a stance change. Maybe
Yeah,
not a full transformation, but like more of a stance change.
yeah.
That altered her abilities.
Yeah, because the rest of the discussion will most likely be discussing the rest of the abilities of Rex that he could potentially use, and they will all go into spoiler territories.
Okay.
Because as Shulk, he has a blade with a light sword, which is the only thing that would be replaceable with him, but he has nothing to really be similar with him. And his blade, Pyra, can change form into a light form, which is Mithra. And at a certain point in the game, which is big spoilers, they fuse somehow and become an even stronger version, which would be essentially be the final smash in Lucario style,
Okay.
where he essentially can use any element at his choosing and just obliterate anything.
Okay, that sounds fun and flashy.
Yeah, so his final smash could be different enough from Shulk, because while they still have the chain attack in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that is not really the main gimmick this time of combat style.
Okay.
That is more into using elements at your disposal, changing different blades, using them to unleash a huge combination attack. But there isn't really much to add to Xenoblade after that, because
Only
there
a
is
couple
such a...
games.
Yeah, there's so little to talk about except for Rex.
All right. Now, oh, go ahead, Ryu.
So just an overview of Xenoblade. When it got into Smash for the 3DS and Wii U, it really felt like they were lucky to be there. That it was they just barely qualified. They just barely made the roster. Sort of like how Ness was when Mother 2 was new in 64.
I think that's a good analogy.
So, do you disagree, Gamersaps?
Well, I would put him in the category of like Mars as Fire Emblem, Ness as Mother, and yeah, I would agree to that point exactly. But I wouldn't say it was really gone.
I'm wondering if Xenoblade as a franchise as a whole, even though it's definitely gotten a big boost because of Smash, if they're going to be worthy of 2 characters at where they're at right now. I think maybe further down the line that's more likely, but I think a stage would probably be a great way to represent Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, that is where I have to agree with you, Ryu. I don't think Shulk's Rex is unique enough or popular enough to be able to replace Shulk in that fashion, and no other character would make sense to replace with Shulk or Rex.
Yeah, I think it's a little up in the air whether Xeno will get a new rep, especially considering how recent Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is. Although that game was in development for a long time, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But it's still hard to say, is like, oh, did it come out too recently, or what's going on with that? But yeah, I do think a new stage is very possible. And there is one more character from the Xeno series that I want to talk about really quickly, who I believe had a cameo, and this is again super spoilers territory, in Xenoblade 2, and has actually had a history going back even before Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and that's Cosmos.
Yes. She is one of the summonable blades in Chronicles 2. But I have yet to get her, so I know nothing of her cameo in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, sadly.
Yeah, so Cosmos was a major character in, I believe, Xeno Saga.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was...
That I know about.
Oh, have you played it?
Yes, I have played the Xenosaga franchise, but that
Oh,
was
excellent.
also when, like, 14 years ago.
Right. But she's had a bunch of cameos since then, like...
Yeah,
in-
she's usually drawn into many of the, like, crossover games. For
Which
example,
one?
she was available in... Oh, shit, what's that game?
Project Crosszone?
Yes, that's
Project
it.
Crosszone, yes.
Yep. And I believe she was in Soul Calibur, of all things.
That I'm not sure of. You may be right, but I haven't played a Soul Calibur game since Soul Calibur 2, so...
I have played Soul
Yeah.
Calibur 5 and I don't remember her.
So from what I understand, she's a pretty popular character, but I don't exactly know what company owns her.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to
That's-
quickly bring her up as, that could be a surprise. But I think for Cosmos, probably more likely if she shows up, maybe as an assist trophy.
Yeah, that is fair. I think Cosmos' biggest chances are assist trophy at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're going to talk about Project Crosszone and different characters from there, there's also... What was her name? I'm Googling it right now.
Fiora?
Yes, Fiora. She was also in Project Crosszone.
Yeah.
And it's only the other one that I would feel is likely as the representative from Chronicles 1. But I think that is all there really is to talk on the topic of Xenoblade.
Topic 3. Ubisoft is a big name company, with tons of fan-favorite characters that the development studio would no doubt kill to put on Smash's roster. We're curious, viewers. What characters from Ubisoft do you feel stand a shot to make the team?
Ubisoft. Ubisoft.
No,
Opinions, feelings.
Ubisoft.
Look, buddy, don't make me come over there. I'll show you how unbesoft I am.
No! Moving on.
I believe it's pronounced Ubisoft. Now let's.
Oh.
Is it
No,
too big to
Ubisoft is
change
a
our name?
really big third-party developer out in the West. They're based in France, I believe.
Yeah.
They have offices all over the world. But yeah, being one of the biggest third parties out there, I think it's very possible that you could see them being represented in Smash.
Yeah, I agree that it will most likely get a representative, but I think the only one to really be there is Rayman from a likely character.
Rayman!
No, guys. Obviously,
Don't! I know what you're
the
gonna say.
next
Don't.
character that they're gonna release is Rabid. It's gonna be Rabid, and we all know it.
Rabid Peach.
I'm actually thinking rabbits might be more likely than Rayman. But
I'm
that's
sorry.
why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. My prediction is, if we see Ubisoft stuff, then it'll be Rayman as a character and Rabbids as an assist trophy.
I was thinking the same thing, actually.
Yeah, because like the Rabbids are just so dang popular and have made so much money for both Ubisoft and Nintendo, but I don't see them really as fighter material. I think considering you have Rayman, who's like this classic legacy character, you know, a mascot platformer in the same vein as like Mario and Sonic, definitely has a lot to draw from. I think have his sort of limbless design gives a lot of potential for sort of a wacky movement style, like having his punches and kicks have very long reach. And yeah, in the two most recent games, Rayman Origins and Legends, are both on Nintendo consoles. Nintendo published Legends in Japan, so there's definitely a close tie there.
Yeah, and this is sort of where I, again, admit that I never really played a Rayman game. I've seen other people play them, and I understand that people really like the character design, and it is really neat. But the thing that I do know for a fact is that this Mario vs. Rabbids game that came out, it has gotten an intense amount of attention, and even so much so that characters like Rabbid Peach have been put into other games like Let's Dance, and
Its name is Just Dance.
or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't make a full character, that the most likely thing we would see from Ubisoft would be an assist trophy a la the Rabbids, where if you picked it up, the like Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and Peach Rabbid maybe showed up on the screen, kind of like the Pac-Man ghosts, and they just ran around and like shot at each other. But if you got in the way of the fires or blasts, that you would take damage.
I like the idea of like an assist trophy that's attacking like sort of itself, and it's not really focused on the battle, it just happens to be there and you're getting the crossfire. That's pretty cute. That's funny. And that's very in character for the Rabbids to just sort of cause chaos without realizing it.
I will devil's advocate for Rayman right now and say that he did make it into Super Smash Brothers for 3DS and Wii U as a trophy, but he made it there. So I mean, he's got one foot in the door. But just like Wario usurped the Mario Land series, the Rabbids took over a Rayman game series and became better selling than Rayman, I think. So, and then the fact that Mario and Rabbids is the big Ubisoft Nintendo crossover that's making a big splash on the Switch right now. I think Rabbids are just doing better, and I think Rayman's a lot more likable, but I'm not going to say that the Rabbids don't have a big personality. And I think that if we're going to see a character from Ubisoft be playable, it'll be the ones who are right up there with Mario, the Rabbids.
Yeah, I think either one would not surprise me. If Rayman got in, or if a Rabbid got in as like fighter, neither of those would really surprise me. I know which one I would prefer.
Yeah,
but both could happen.
It would be interesting, and again, interesting in general, not necessarily what I want, if the Rabbid, just generally a Rabbid, got in as a playable character. Its alternate costumes could be the Mario outfit, the Luigi outfit, the Peach outfit, etc., so on.
Would its fighting style be based on the Mario Rabbids like strategy shooter, or on the old like party games?
Oh,
I mean, you gotta throw a toilet plunger in there. Just
Yeah.
But if we were to talk about other Ubisoft characters, basically any other Ubisoft character will be incredibly unlikely because they are not mainly on Nintendo or have a really big association with Nintendo.
Right.
But Assassin's Creed is a Ubisoft game.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Assassin's Creed. I think that's Ubisoft's best-selling franchise, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
just and not necessarily on Nintendo platforms.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Ubisoft games that are particularly Nintendo associated, aside from the Rabid franchise, and really the only other thing that comes to mind is Zombie U.
Oh yeah, Zombie. Yeah, so the thing with Assassin's Creed is actually all of the protagonists of that series, to my knowledge, well, I mean, except for the most recent one, have appeared on Nintendo platforms between the DS and Wii U. Because there have been like spin-offs on the DS and 3DS, and of course 3 and 4 were both on the Wii U. So it's not like they're strangers to Nintendo. I think the only barrier to that would be that although Assassin's Creed has been very successful for Ubisoft, it has not brought much money to Nintendo. So I don't see Nintendo seeing that as their like first choice versus Ubisoft.
I just can't get really deep into the Assassin's Creed camp here because it just, I mean, from gut instinct, it feels much more PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale than it does Super Smash Brothers. Am I alone there?
No.
I agree. If I saw like Enzio as a Smash character, I would probably just like cockeyed walk away from the screen and like put my controller down.
Okay, this is the thing. I mean, we could say the same thing about Bayonetta, but then again, Bayonetta is much more of a Nintendo thing now
Yeah, that's fair.
than Assassin's Creed ever has been.
Yeah.
Well, when Assassin's Creedman wins the Smash Bowls, we'll talk.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. I mainly brought him up because he is a Ubisoft. It is a Ubisoft franchise, and it is a popular one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
another
that's
one that is.
It's got several remakes and additions. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely got the staying power and popularity as far as a franchise goes. But is it Nintendo enough?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
so yeah, if the Rayman series doesn't make it in, then Assassin's Creed would be the next one. But it's gonna be the Rayman series, so...
Yeah. And if you were going to go even farther away from being likely, Far Cry.
Whoa!
Yeah, no, let's just say, no, that's not gonna happen.
Parachuting, grappling hooks, and rocket launchers, and a tiger.
And shooting a tiger, I'm for it.
And then there's Just Dance, which we mentioned earlier, but that's just all licensed songs.
Oh,
so-
if there was a Just Dance dancer like Wii Fit trainer, as much as I am not interested in Just Dance, the game itself, that I would play that strictly for the trolling reasons.
can only be controlled with motion controls.
Slight tangent. Did you know that Just Dance 2018 came out on the Nintendo Wii?
I did, and it's hilarious.
What?
It came out day and date on the Wii, Wii U, and Switch.
I mean, people have Wiis, and the people who still use their Wiis are the same people who buy Just Dance games. So there you go.
Fair enough.
But looking back on Ubisoft, I think I'd actually be surprised if we didn't see some sort of another trophy or probably even like a stage from Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah, I mean, my only problem with a stage, and again, this is with only having limited experience with the game itself, is what would they do? Build like a Mushroom Kingdom stage, only everything looks blocky and square?
Yeah, sure, and rabbits everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
And a washing machine.
The stage is the washing machine and just takes you through time. But no, I actually have another legitimate suggestion for a stage from Rayman, and so I take it we've all seen Rayman Legends and Origins in action and how beautiful those games are. I think a stage based on that art style would pop.
Yeah, the Rayman games looks really, really nice. While I don't have, I haven't played the most recent ones and I'm mostly familiar with the 3D ones, I can appreciate the other ones for what they look like and with the art style and direction, basically everything there.
Yeah, if I was going to suggest a specific location, probably the Glade of Dreams, because that's sort of like the default starting location in Origins. But I'm sure there are plenty of other locations just using that gorgeous hand-drawn art style that those games are known for.
I have played Origins and Legends, but forgive me, the name is escaping me. What is the name of Rayman's funny friend?
Glowbox.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that if Rayman or Rabbids were to be playable, then he would be a good inclusion for maybe assist trophy or trophy in general.
I almost forgot to mention Glowbox and Barbara as well.
Yeah,
Legends.
Barb is only the recent games, from my understanding.
Globax has been around for like since the beginning, pretty much, right?
And I think he's been from the second game onwards. I don't remember him from the first game.
All right, and I think Murphy is another recurring character.
Yeah, Murphy, I believe, is from the first game. Or is he the same situation?
Maybe. But yeah, there are a lot of like really cool looking, maybe not cool looking, but well designed supporting characters in the Rayman series. Any of which I think could be fun as assist trophy or even just a regular trophy, like we saw in Smash Wii U.
Yeah, I think we all are in agreement that it would be nice to get a Ubisoft representative, and if anything, that is going to be either Rabbids or Rayman, and there's almost no chance of the other ones being represented in some way.
Right, that's probably the most likely situation, I think.
Well, since Art's not here, I guess I'll take the bullet and leave your comment in the YouTube section below, and and we'll try to respond to your questions or talk about whatever you'd like to discuss with us. And what do you think is likely from Ubisoft or Xenoblade or Fire Emblem?
I have a question.
What's your question, Soldier?
Jay?
We're talking about Ubisoft. We're not going to talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Jay?
That's
What?
Square Enix.
No, Jay, don't back out now, Jay.
Nope.
Jay, run, just run.
Okay, nope, never mind. Okay.
Well, so the thing about Kingdom Hearts is that Sora is